This is lesson 11.2, and today we're going to talk about similar triangles. And before we can even start, we have to think back to when we were proving whether or not two triangles were congruent or not. And we talked about how if you wanted to show that two triangles are congruent, you would have to show that this side is congruent to this side to this side, and this side to this side, and then you would have to check this angle if it is congruent to this angle, and this angle if it's congruent to this angle, and then this angle if it's congruent to this angle. And what we discovered was that was an awful lot of work. So what we did was we looked at some shortcuts, and we came up with 4 shortcuts for proving triangles are congruent: SAS, SSS, ASA, and SAA, and those 4 work every single time as shortcuts. So the same thing happens when we talk about similar triangles. Remember, to show that two triangles are similar, you would have to show that the sides are proportional and that angles are proportional and angles are congruent. And so does the same question exist then? Is this side proportional to this side? Is this side proportional to this side? What about this one? Is it proportional to this side? And then is this angle congruent to this angle and this angle, this one and this one, so on and so forth? And that's a lot of work. So are there any shortcuts? And the answer to that question is yes, there are shortcuts. So rather than showing all 3 angles are congruent and that all 3 sides are proportional to their corresponding sides in the other triangle, let's look at some shortcuts. So there are 3, and so at this point in time you should have out your notebook, and let's take a look at them. The first shortcut is right here. It is called AA. So AA stands for angle. Basically, if you can have 2 different triangles like I have here, here's number 1, here's number 2, and if you can show that 2 angles, so this one right here is 60 and this one here is 60, this one is 58 degrees, this one is 58, if you can show that 2 angles are congruent to 2 angles in the other triangle, then the 2 triangles are similar. That is the very first shortcut, and it works every single time. Just a quick note that there is no need to talk about the third angle, because remember, all the angles have to add up to 180 degrees, and so that would just be overkill. No need to do that much. So first shortcut, AA. 2 angles are congruent to 2 angles in another triangle, then the triangles are similar. Next shortcut, shortcut number 2, is called SSS, and hopefully you won't be shocked to figure out that SSS stands for side, side, side. Now this one's a little bit different because this word proportional is thrown in here. So it's not that the sides are congruent to one another, it's that the sides are proportional. So this side corresponds with this side, and the ratio is 48 to 96, which is half. This side corresponds to this side, and that's 50 to 100, which is a ratio of half. And then this side here has a relationship with this side here, and 54 over 108, that ratio is half. So the big question is, are all 3 sides proportionally related to the other 3 sides in the other triangle? And the answer to that is yes, because every ratio is the same: half, half, and half. So if that situation exists in 2 triangles, then you can say that the triangles are similar because of SSS. That was shortcut number 2. That leaves us with one other shortcut. Shortcut number 3 is SAS, and that shortcut, again, hopefully you're not surprised, stands for side, angle, side. So the first thing we're going to talk about is this angle right here has to be congruent to this angle here. Now we use this word included angle. So this is the included angle because it's in between the two sides that we are going to be comparing. So the angles are congruent, 60 degrees and 60 degrees. Now let's look at the sides, 54 and 108. Now it's not that they are congruent, it's that they are proportional. The ratio between these two is 1/2, and let's check the ratio between this side and this side, 48 over 96, and that is half, and they are the same ratio. The included angle is the same measure, so the shortcut that we can use to say that this triangle here is similar to this shortcut here is SAS. Side, angle, side. Alright, so those are the three shortcuts. Hopefully you have that down in your notebook so you can use that in class when we do the problems that are associated with this. The big ideas from all of this is lesson 11.2 from your textbook, is 3 shortcuts for proving triangles are similar. The first one is AA, which stands for angle, angle. If 2 angles in one triangle are congruent to 2 angles in another triangle, then the triangles are similar. Second shortcut was SSS, and the one thing you need to remember there is that it's not if the sides are congruent, it's if the sides are proportional. If that's the case, then you can say that the 2 triangles are similar. Last shortcut is SAS, and that is where you check to see if 2 sides are proportional to 2 sides in another triangle, and if the included angles are congruent. Alright, those are the 3 shortcuts. Make sure you have that in your notes, and that's it for today.